Does this look ridiculous? Yes. Alright, so I'm gonna look at the camera. It's gonna be one of those types of videos. I've started watching anime again. That brings up a lot of emotions. I started watching Berserk. I have not felt emotions like this in a long time. That kind of got me thinking about emotions and watching anime and feelings in general. I thought I would talk about that. I started watching Berserk this week after I got back from Anime Iowa with my friends, and we were talking about it in the car on the way back. One of my friends had told me about that anime a few years ago, so I thought I would finally start watching it. Basically, all I knew about it was that it was about fighting and stuff. I'd seen like 2 episodes of it before. I didn't really remember much, but I remembered that it was about fighting and stuff, and apparently towards the end things get really messed up. So that's pretty much all I knew about the anime. Going in, I wasn't sure what to expect, but I have to say it's one of the most gripping anime I have watched in years. It's a really brilliantly told story, honestly. I have not marathoned an anime like this in a long time. So I kind of went into it trying to, you know, brace myself for the inevitable emotions that I would experience. I have experienced those emotions, and I was not prepared. You know, you think you're gonna be prepared and then you're just not. Yeah, I watched episode 23 and then I felt like my heart just got like, you know, taken out of my chest and like eaten by a demon, and it hurts. Kind of waiting a day or two to like finish the series, because at this point I know the plot is not going to get any better. So there's that. I have committed my heart to being ripped out by this anime. It is good and terrible at the same time. So yeah, I think it's amazing that stories can do that to us, honestly. They can take us on these amazing journeys and get us attached to these amazing characters, and then do terrible things to those characters and make us feel absolutely horrible. It's a wonderful feeling and a terrible feeling. It's gotten me thinking a lot about emotions. So basically, I marathoned Berserk yesterday, then I got to episode 23 around like 7 p.m. and then I just felt terrible, you know? Like that feeling when you just need to take a glass of water and lie down. But I couldn't do that because I was going to a movie with my friends that evening, so I just kind of had to bottle those feelings inside of myself, and I really just wanted to cry, but I couldn't, so I just kind of had to live with those terrible feelings. And then, you know, I went to this movie with my friends, and it was a good movie, and it cheered me up. And then on the way back, we were driving back into town, and there were a bunch of people at the Super 8 motel. I asked my friend why, and she said it was because they're there to build a big oil pipeline that is going to go through our county. And that same feeling that I had watching that episode of Berserk, of like everything crumbling around me and just like everything going to hell and everything is terrible, I felt that feeling, only it was real. That got me thinking about how we would rather feel emotions around fictional things, but we try to numb our emotions about things that are real and actually affect us. I think this is a very interesting thing. Why we're more okay experiencing emotions when it's something fictional than when it is something real that is actually going to affect and detriment our real lives. I guess I don't have the answer to that. It's something that I've been thinking about, and I think maybe we should all think about that a bit more. I know it relates to escapism. I guess it's easier to get invested in a story and have your heart torn out and be able to rationalize it and say, well, oh, that is just a story, you know, that's just an anime that I'm watching. Even though I experience very real emotions of sadness and feeling like my heart is being torn out. At the end of the day, it's easy to say, oh, well, that's just a character. Nothing bad actually happened. I just kind of chose to go on this wonderful, terrible ride and invest in these characters and know that I'm going to get my heart torn out. It's just a story, so it's okay at the end of the day. But when it's something like an oil pipeline that is going to go through your county and potentially cause irreversible damage to the earth and your local life, that is something so huge and almost incomprehensible that I guess the natural human response is to just shut down and try not to think about it, I guess. And I think that's terrible that we react to things like that, because then how can we change things if we're not willing to face our emotions? And I went on a long Twitter rant about this last night at like 3:30 a.m. just to get out some of those feelings. And I don't have any answers. But it's something that I'm thinking a lot about now. And I guess the question is, how can we choose to face our emotions and embrace them instead of being afraid of them? Because I think ultimately when we choose to feel our emotions, that's when we're able to actually make change in our lives. You know, it makes me wonder why we consider emotional numbing to be something that's cool. Why is not caring about things considered cool, like a strong characteristic? It's not. Not feeling your emotions is terrible. It doesn't make you strong. It just makes you more able to continue living your life the way you've always lived it and go on doing terrible things and not having to face your guilt of being human. And I used to be like that. I wasn't able to feel my emotions for a while. I mean, for most of my life until like 2 years ago, honestly. You know, for a while I felt like I never cry at movies, like I'm so cool, like people who cry when they watch stuff are just so weak, like I would never let myself cry at something, that's so dumb. But it's not really. You're kind of missing out on the entire human experience when you numb your emotions like that. Eventually I kind of wondered, like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I cry? Why? Like, that's not right. Like, I should be able to cry at things. And I can now. I cry a lot. I cry a lot now. And I think it's really good. It's really healthy. I went to a seminar of this one acting teacher a few years ago. She was talking about, you know, how babies and children, they let their emotions out and experience them fully, and then they go on with their lives. They don't hold their emotions in. And holding your emotions in really creates a lot of stress on your nervous system. Those emotions build up, you know, and eventually they can manifest as disease or cancer, all these terrible things. So why do we think it's a strong trait to be able to be stoic and just not express anything? It's not good, you guys. And that acting teacher, I have to say, he was one of the most alive people I have ever seen. Like, I was just amazed at how alive he was. Like, I don't think I've ever met anyone else like that. And when my friends went to his acting school, actually 2 of my friends went to his acting school. So yeah, anyway, I don't know what the overall, like, message of this video is, but these are all things I've been thinking about. I guess overall, it's good to feel your emotions, guys. It's good. Whether it's over something fictional or something real, it's good to feel your emotions. And ultimately, it is easier for us to escape and feel emotions about things that are fictional than it is to look at the harsh reality of things and face the soul-crushing reality of things that probably cannot be reversed. It is terrible to be human. Let's be honest. But I think facing our emotions and our terrible guilt of all of the irreversible, probably, things that we have done is one of the major steps we need to take in order to be able to change things and be like, okay, I feel really terrible about this. What can I do? And one of my followers on Twitter said that, you know, hold on, I'm gonna look this up. Okay, so when I was going on my rant last night at like 3 a.m., one of the things I tweeted was, sometimes I feel like I'm screaming and no one can hear me. No one wants to listen. No one wants to face the pain of what they've done. And when my followers replied, lots of people here, just not anyone in a position of power that can do anything about it. And I replied to that, we are all in a position of power to do something about it. Overall, I think that's the main problem. People think that they don't have any power to change anything. And you guys, we all have power to change things. Come on. Just because the government exists or people with a lot of money exist doesn't mean they're the only people with the ability to make change. There are so many of us. Like, we control the world, you guys. You and me. We are the world. We're it, yo. We have the power to change things, and it might seem like you are so minuscule and small and you can't do anything, but that is so not true. That is just false. That is a complete lie. You have so much power to change things for the better. Boom. I guess that's the main that is the message. That is the reason for the season, apparently. So, yeah, as for what we can do to change things, talking about things that bother us is one thing, and it might seem like talking about it is dumb, like what is that going to do, like you're just talking about it. Exchanging ideas is insanely powerful. 2, working through your own emotions and facing your own guilt and inner trauma and stuff is incredibly important. I think, honestly, that's one of the main things we all need to do, because why is the world so crazy? It's because people are acting out of their inner hurt and taking it out on other people because they're trying to make sense of the world and they don't know how to channel their inner rage and hurt in a healthy way. There are healthy ways to channel terrible stuff that has happened to you, and you just have to learn what that is, whether it's art or martial arts or activism or whatever. There are constructive things you can do with all of the pain inside of yourself. And 3, spreading awareness of things that's going on is so powerful, because the mainstream media doesn't do it. It's not profitable for the media to focus on a lot of stuff that's going on. The media mainly wants to make money, you guys. That's just how it is. So they're not going to report a lot of things. So we should be the news, you guys. We need to inform each other about things that are going on. That is incredibly powerful. And we have strength in numbers. We all use social media, we all use Facebook. Use what you have to make a positive influence on the world. Don't ever think you are powerless, because it's just not true. And I guess that's my video. We covered a wide variety of topics, and right? One last thing I want to mention is about being triggered. I think a lot of people don't know what being triggered actually means, because I see so many people joke about being triggered, and I get where they're coming from, honestly, because I used to have no idea what being triggered meant. Like, I just knew it was something that people on Tumblr complained about, like, oh, trigger warning, like, watch out, there's a trigger warning, you guys, be careful. You know, I used to think like, you people on Tumblr are so like oversensitive, like just get over yourselves, honestly, come on. But then stuff happened and I experienced what the depths of despair and horror were like, and suddenly understood. I understood what being triggered meant. For those of you who are lucky enough to have no idea what being triggered means, basically being triggered, it feels like, okay, something bad happened to you in the past, then you watch a show or something that relates to that thing that happened to you in the past. That thing that you watch triggers you. And what it feels like is that you go back into the past. It feels like you're literally stuck back in the past, and it's terrifying, honestly. I think that's important for people to kind of be more aware of, because being triggered is a very real thing. You are very lucky to not know what it feels like if you have no idea what it feels like. Be frigging grateful, because it is horrifying. That said, please never, ever, ever joke about being triggered or trigger warnings. Just stop. Don't do it, you guys. It is so insensitive. Oh my god, it makes me want to puke anytime I see someone joke about trigger warnings. Oh my god. So yeah, I guess you could say I was a little bit triggered by Berserk. Freaking terrible shit that happens in that anime, and I'm still dealing with some feelings surrounding it, so I really want to finish it, but I don't think I'm gonna finish it tonight. I don't know if I can deal with it. I was also watching Revolutionary Girl Utina, and I enjoyed that anime up until episode like 14, and then shit gets real dark real quick, and I was like silently screaming because it was so shocking and terrible, and I don't know if I can finish that anime, honestly. I don't know if I can do it, but I might commit to feeling triggered and terrible just to be able to finish it, because I hear it's really good. But stressful anime. It's great. It is great. I think it's cool that, you know, things can make us feel such terrible emotions. Especially when they're very well told stories. But it doesn't make it easy to deal with those emotions. Sometimes you just gotta drink a glass of water and lie down and cry. So, broad range of topics that we have talked about. Hopefully I can edit this into a cohesive video for the YouTubes. And I don't know, just outro now. This is the end of the video. Now it's the outro. You can watch another video here maybe. I have a Facebook now. Go like my Facebook, please. It would make me feel better about myself. I already feel pretty good about myself, you don't need to worry about that, but you can talk to me on my Facebook. Someone sent me a Facebook message and I was like, oh, this is a cool way to talk to my followers, subscriber people, and I'm going to be posting stuff on the Facebook. So yeah, I want to kind of create a little community for us nerds over on the Facebook. So go like that, the link will be down below. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to talk to me on Twitter. I'm fairly active on Twitter. I have an Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram. I also have a Tumblr. I don't really use it very much. I kind of want to get into using Tumblr, but Tumblr kind of annoys me, to be honest. But maybe I'll get more into that. So that is the end, I guess, and stuff. Bye. Oh, I have a Snapchat too. I am very dedicated to posting pictures and videos of my cat. You can go follow that because cats just make everything better. They're cuddly and awesome, so sometimes I post other things too, but it's mainly just my cat, let's be honest.